Are we live right now?
Yes, sir. Big win.
Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Bucks win it tonight. 112-103 over the Chicago Bulls. The surging Chicago Bulls. They won in a row coming into this. And the Milwaukee Bucks get a dub tonight. 112-103 back-to-back for both teams. So no excuses there either way. This is a big win. Giannis returns. Again, we had a post-game show last night. Didn't even talk about a real return from Giannis. And then earlier news broke that Giannis, if he could muster it and pass through pregame rigors, he would play. And play he did. Gave you. And again, I'll tell you this, chat. I'm ready to run through a wall. I'm ready to run through a wall with what I saw from the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. Come on in the room. Doctors are Dr. Rice. He gives us our medicine in our room. We are live. It's Crimson Crossover Group Dessert.
Chris King.
Just us two tonight. 112-103. How about your Milwaukee Bucks getting a win over the Chicago Bulls? Get at us on the Twitter at OnYourTeachQs973. Get at us in the YouTube in the chat. Let's talk about it. If you like that, yeah, James Moore. If you like what you saw tonight, hit that like button on your way into the room. 112-103. Giannis returns. Bucks get a dub. Wow, that was electric. And how about that ending? We got to talk about how that game ended as well. Giannis with the FU dunk to the Chicago Bulls with no time remain, with nothing left. People got upset about it. And I'll tell you, let's do a recap, and then I'll tell you what I thought. I'll tell you and I go with Wesley Matthews, what he said about what that dunk was to end the game. Because I think it was more than just playful. We're running around. I think that meant something. But we'll talk about that too as the Bucks finish up 112-103 over the Chicago Bulls. Let's do a game recap tonight. Giannis comes back 25 minutes. Clearly that was his restriction. He was on a minute's restriction. 25 minutes, 29 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 10 of 15 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. Plus 13 on the night. AJ Green, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 of 9 from the field, 2 of 8 from 3. I think AJ, again, here's the other thing. You win by 9, and then that game was close going down the wire. I think the Bucks win going away if AJ hits the threes. And again, I'm not mad at his game. I mean, it's a hit or miss league. AJ Green has to shoot those shots. He's got to take them. He's got to hit them. Last night he had 20. You come back tonight, you have 6. I forgot how many threes he hit last night. 5, 6 threes last night, whatever it was. And tonight he couldn't find the basket. But that's okay. He shot those shots. They were open. They were wide open. And some nights you don't hit them, and that's okay. But I thought, again, shoot the ball. It was okay. I thought his defense was decent. Good, above average at times. But AJ Green, keep shooting. That will fall. Ryan Rollins. I thought tonight Ryan Rollins made winning plays. 20.7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 7 of 12 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3. The gravity of Giannis. That's what tonight was about to me. Tonight was about the gravity of Giannis. Chris King, before we came in, he wanted to talk about how he was reading the comments last night, and a lot of the comments on the show talked, because we spent a lot of time on this program, Crimson Crossover, talking about how this team is built to play around Giannis and built to play with Giannis, and that's what this team thrives on. And a lot of the comments were like, "See, it doesn't matter. This team sucks. This team stinks." Chicago Bulls, again, not a great basketball. They're middle of the road, bottom tier team in the East, but they've won 5 in a row. So they're playing good hoops. They're scoring a lot of points. What they put up, 130, 120. They're a high-scoring team. The Bucks home to 103. Offense look better. Defense look better. This team, again, will look better around Giannis. Again, I'm not saying they're world beaters, man. I'm not saying that the Bucks should be on pace with OKC, and we should talk about them winning a championship with the roster as it. That's not what I'm saying. But to pretend like this isn't a good basketball team with Giannis, and there are some people in the chat who said that we were underestimating Giannis because we were talking about Joker being better than Giannis. And again, he's a top 3 player in the world. If you have a top 2, top 3, top 1, whatever you want to put him, he's one of the best players in the entire association. If that's what you put him on any team, he's going to elevate them. The wide open threes that Rounds was 5 of 9 from 3. Maybe one of those threes was off Rollins' own creation. The rest of them were either off a Giannis assist, or I remember one distinctly in the fourth where the double came. Giannis passed it back. It was or Giannis, or there was a screen, something like that. There was one. They were back-to-back threes with Rollins. One of them, he dumps it down to Giannis. Giannis takes the ball. Double comes over with Giddey. He passes it back. 3-ball corner pocket. Then the next one comes back. I think it was back-to-back. They come right back down. Giannis, I believe, sets the screen, and they both Rollins gets the ball back, and he doesn't really have to do anything because everybody went with Giannis. And so again, before he makes a pass, it wasn't off an assist, but it's the gravitational pull. 3-ball, he puts it down. Again, and I thought Rollins made winning plays all over the court. Defense, offense, grabbing rebounds. He missed a free throw at the end, gets his own rebound. There was a rebound that came. He got the offensive rebounds that you were looking for. He did a lot of good stuff tonight. Miles Turner has stretches of good play. 13 and 5, 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. Hit a couple threes, plus 11 on the night. I thought that Miles Turner, again, he plays better with Giannis in the lineup. Still got to be more impactful, but I thought his defense tonight was pretty good. Because again, at least I was like, man, Miles Turner should be a good defender, right? And he wasn't even showing that. Again, he's just better with Giannis in the lineup. And KPJ, I see some people, and Mike _Uncle talking about 86944 isn't a bad game. People get so enamored with the KPJ Ryan Rollins debate. Rollins, 8.6 boards, 9 assists, 4 steals. You do have to cut the turnover. 4 turnovers is too much. Too much. But 8, 6, 9, and 4. I mean, that's a Jason Kidd kind of. That's a Jason Kidd kind of game. So I don't think KPJ had a bad game at all. I really don't. Again, could he have shot the ball better? Absolutely. 0 for 3 from 3. He could have done a lot. He could have done a better job, scoring and turnovers. But I thought defensively, he's in the passing lanes all night long. He's a big time disruptor for opposing teams just because he gets his hands on the ball, deflections, all of that. I thought he did a lot of really good things. And then the 9 assists I thought was great. Gary Harris, 3 points tonight. Kyle Kuzma, 12 points, 2 boards, 4 assists off the bench. Bobby Portis, 17-11. Jericho Sims, 4 and 6. And then on the Chicago side of things, Okoro, 10 points, 4 rebounds. Matis Buzelis, 8 points, 3 rebounds. Vucevic, 16 and 7. Coby White, 16 and 2. Giddey had a terrible first half. Second half, he was tough for the Bucks to handle. 13, 7, and 9. Zach Collins, 10 and 10. Kevin Huerter, 7, 6, and 4. Io Desomu, however you say his last name, 11 and 2. And then 6 and 10 for Jalen Smith. But that all adds up to a 112-103 victory for your Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis was and I'll tell you, so about this game again, let me go back to the KPJ and Rollins debate. I really don't think it matters. Start, bench. The team's not good when Giannis isn't on the floor. Giannis was a plus 13 tonight. A lot of people end up having a good plus minus night because they play with Giannis. It's just not a good team. I don't care who's on the court. They're not a good team without Giannis. I mean, how many times was the Bucks? I mean, the Bucks at one point were up 13 in the first half, and Giannis. It was interesting that last 4 minutes of the first half, lead wilters away, and they're only up by 4 at the end of the half. Should have been a much bigger lead going to the half. But I thought Giannis came back, looked dominant. Ball moved, ball popped. KPJ turnovers were cut down the first half. Second half seemed like they were a little more. He was a little more careless, reckless with the ball. Giannis impacted the game again, the gravitational pull of him offensively. In the third quarter, Giannis only played like 4 minutes in the third, I think it was. But he got Chicago in foul trouble. Bucks were in the bonus with 8 minutes to play. And so that helped tremendously for the Milwaukee Bucks not to lose that third quarter when he only plays 4 minutes in the third because he was gearing up for a long fourth quarter of minutes. And I thought Dot, you could argue about how he did the minutes and whether Giannis should have played more to end the half because in that last 4 minutes without him, the Bucks didn't look that good and gave away a 13-point lead. But I thought, again, when your star player is limited to 25 minutes, you kind of got to do what you got to do. And it's hard to figure that thing out. I saw tonight where the Spurs are playing and Wemby's having some minutes restriction. And I saw Spurs fans upset with his allocation of how to minutes. Again, when anybody's limited 25, 30 minutes, whatever, it's going to be tough to figure that thing out. But again, the Bucks just, they look like that's a top 4, top 3 team in the East when Giannis is on. I truly believe that. Let me go to the super chats before we and then I'll let Chris King give his thoughts on the night to start this thing out. At Al McGuire dash U2Y says, I'm all for Giannis. I'm gonna let my thing hang and swing. Oh, I gotta talk about that statement dunk on all those fibs. Oh, we talking about fibs. I don't know what that is. But I hope he didn't tweak the leg on that landing. I hope he didn't either. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk to you about for a second too. I thought that dunk at the end, Al, I thought that dunk was a statement dunk. I thought, you talk about letting your nuts hang and swing. I thought that was a I'm back moment. I thought that was a dunk to say F you. This wasn't, it wasn't about Chicago. They just happened to be in the way. He was no disrespect to Chicago. Vucevic was acting like a little bitch. He's all mad. Win the game. Stop crying. Guess, and I say this too. You don't have to worry about nobody dunking on you if you win the game. You got to worry about none of that. So win the game. But I thought, and again, it just so happened Chicago was the opponent, had nothing to do with the Bulls. That dunk from Giannis was to the league. That was to people like Shams. That was to some of the people in this chat, to some Bucks fans, to oppose. That was for everybody to know, don't you forget about me. I'm still here. I'm back. Remember that. Don't you ever count me out. Oh, the Bucks, they might as well tankathon. Draft, get, what's my man's name from BYU? They draft this kid, and you might as well get all the pictures. That's it. What the hell are you talking about? Do you know who I am? That's what that dunk was to me. And I think Giannis was out there and letting everybody know, hey, don't you forget. That's what it was to me. That's what I thought. And again, I thought Giannis, great job for it. And let me ask one more thing. I think it was an F you to everybody else and let you know I'm still here. I also think it was a statement to that bench. Everybody in Milwaukee, that the rest of his teammates saying, hey, jump on my back. We're not done. We not done. I'm here. I'm here to save you guys. We ain't done yet. This thing ain't over. That was a statement to many different people. Some people for certain reasons, some people for other reasons. That's what I think. Now, Giannis may come back and interview tonight, chat. We don't have Justin telling us what the interviews were. You tell us. If he said, I was just having some fun, maybe he'll do that. Maybe he'll tell a dad joke with it. But I thought it was impactful. I thought there was a real message behind it, 100%. And Mark Gomes says that was for me. Yeah, I said Joker's better than him. Maybe it was for me. Maybe he heard me. There you go. And then one more super chat. Joshua Sutton. Appreciate it. He says the sheriff is back in town. Welcome back, Giannis. 100%. And last thing I say before you go, Chris King, is on this program, we don't always give Giannis his flowers. And that's because we come to expect it. So every night, it's so funny. We come in and we do these shows, and when Giannis is playing, and I'm not going to say we don't talk about Giannis, but we really like to highlight everybody else, and because we expect the 30, 15, and 8 game. We expect that from Giannis. And so I feel like we never come here. We just hype Giannis every single game. These 3.5 weeks without Giannis show you what this team is about and show you, man, you have to respect and appreciate what Giannis brings. I don't care. I think the Bucks are making the absolute right decision not trading Giannis. Let's let this thing roll. Let's see how this thing goes. 112, 103, that's the final. That's what I saw. Chris, what you see?
Yeah, it was surely evident that, when Giannis came back, and this was the thing, like, we didn't even really expect this to happen at all. Like, I don't know if we even touched on in the past couple of post-game shows, like, when is Giannis going to come back, or what exact timeline are we looking at? But we get that report in the morning, and it's like, okay, there's going to be some juice with this game. And I remember last night, it was this team without Giannis is not an enjoyable brand to watch. Well, tonight I felt like I saw some enjoyment. I was excited. I watched this team, and even though there's still some stretches that need to be figured out, even though there's still some lineups that are pretty iffy and are still very unentertaining, like, as a whole, this team was a lot more, I would say, electric with Giannis back out on that floor. And you see it in every single facet of the game. You see KPJ. Obviously, we have people in the chat still saying that's a bad game from KPJ. And I agree. He's gotten himself into a little bit of a funk as of recent. But you see why it's just so much better to have somebody like Giannis on the floor with him, because it cuts down the turnovers a little bit from, 7 last night to 4. Not a big jump, but he's also making smarter decisions. 9 assists tonight. Could have had more. Guys missed open shots. But I look all the way down the stretch. Guys made big plays. KPJ made big plays getting the lobs to Giannis. He made a big play getting the pass to AJ Green when he's 1 of 8. And AJ Green knocks down a big 3 down the stretch. Ryan Rollins stepped up tonight. And that's what's going to have to happen, right? If KPJ has bad nights and he continues this little funk that he's in, I think Ryan Rollins is going to have to step up. And if that's playing him more at the PG, at getting him more looks off the ball, or getting him more shots in general, like, that's going to come with having Giannis on the floor. But it's also like, we need that. We need him to step up. We need him to make those big shots down the stretch. So, I mean, I thought I saw a lot of big plays from our guys down the stretch in a game where it felt like, okay, Chicago had an answer for a lot. They did. Like, the Bucks would get up, and then Chicago had a good match with a 3-ball or just an easy bucket at the other end. So, all in all, to me, I thought that Giannis, again, you talk about gravitational pull. I thought his presence is felt. His presence makes everybody else better. And that's the thing. When everybody's talking about, well, this team should be better without Giannis. Well, I mean, it's true. This team without Giannis is terrible. This team with Giannis is capable of being a playoff team, a playoff caliber team. So I think that's like my biggest realization from tonight, is just like, they need Giannis, and they can be a decent team with Giannis in the lineup.
I think you're right. I agree with you. I enjoyed watching. I forgot what felt like in the last 3.5 weeks. I enjoyed watching Milwaukee Bucks basketball. I enjoyed that game start to finish. It was fun. And again, you're right. There are these moments where things don't play out right. You have these lulls. But I really felt like, even in the last couple of games where the Bucks lost, you had these lulls of 5 or 6 minutes without a field goal, 6 minutes without a field goal. And it's like, you're hoping that with the KPJ or Rollins, something like that wouldn't happen. But when you add Giannis, that there just shouldn't be that big of a lull, 6 minutes without. You shouldn't have that take place. And you didn't. And again, they needed every bit of it. Maybe they only needed 27 instead of 29 from Giannis, because he went ahead and slammed it at the end. But I mean, you needed all of those points. And it's funny. And again, maybe this game of basketball is simple, Chris. Maybe it's as simple as every night you watch the Bucks. And again, outside of Brooklyn, most nights they don't lose by. I mean, they did lose by 21 the other night. But most nights, but I felt like the game was a little bit closer than that throughout the balance of the game. But most nights, the games aren't super far apart. Maybe it's just as simple as and tonight, Giannis could have played 30 minutes. I'm saying if he was healthy, and maybe the game's not even as close as it was. But maybe it's as simple as, we're missing a guy that could put up 30. You're missing a guy that can go 38, 29, 8. 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block in 24 minutes of action. Maybe it's just that simple that you're missing that. Now, again, we can talk about what the Bucks were with Giannis in the lineup, but again, it's not a bad Chicago Bulls basketball team. It's not a bad Chicago Bulls basketball team at all, especially compared to some of the teams we've been playing to lose to. We lost to Brooklyn. We could lose to Charlotte. You lose to a lot of teams. And tonight, the Bucks brought it. I thought, again, you held Giddey to just enough, right? And I thought that first half he was so bad that he couldn't overcome it, even with a better second half. But I just thought it looked so much more intact defensively from a cohesion standpoint, outside of the here and there where Giannis may get lazy on the closeout, or they may overhelp a little bit. I thought for the most part they were good. And then offensively, I thought the ball moved basically all night. The only time, the worst stretch of play Giannis had, I believe, was in the fourth quarter. There was a couple minutes left. Bucks are trying to close this thing out, and I thought Giannis took a hero ball, jumper in the elbow, and missed it. And then I think he came back.
Well, they had that 5-second violation too.
5-second violation. That was bad. That was bad too. And then he came back defensively and he had the hero ball jump shot. Then he came back down offensively and had a move. I believe it was an illegal screen, something like that, which was a turnover, gave Chicago the ball. And then on the ensuing possession, he had a bad closeout, which either led to a layup or a three. I can't recall. He did have the 5-second violation, but then after that, he come right back down, hit a layup, hit both free throws as well when he went to the free throw line. So again, it was an impressive night, I thought, from the Milwaukee Bucks overall.
Well, yeah, and then I just think like down the stretch as well, when the game got tight, right, and I think it was a 4-point game after that 5-second violation. You see how the Bucks defense didn't break. They were able to, I mean, I don't know what Chicago was doing. It looked like to me they had a wide open layup. They pass it out to the perimeter, and KPJ forces a tough three ball from Coby White, and that basically sealed the game when he missed it. So, yeah, I think when you look at both sides of the ball, you saw some positives from the defensive end and on the offensive end as well. I never thought, again, like you said, I thought the ball moved all night, but it just seemed like everybody had a little, like just one more step of open space to take their shots. Just one more step on a closing out defender to get by him to get to the rim. And so, again, it just all goes back to having Giannis. And then you're right, the free throws, Giannis being able to step in first game back in a while and be able to knock him down in the clutch times of this game. I mean, you really can't ask for more from this basketball team tonight. In the first game Giannis has played since a couple weeks ago to go out and get a win in a desperate time, right? You were 12-19. Now you've got to try to get some momentum after this. But at the end of the day, like this is what we were expecting when Giannis was going to hit the floor again.
Let me ask you about that final dunk, Chris, that Giannis had. You heard my thoughts about it. What did you think about Giannis? Do you think, I mean, you can talk about in general as well with the move. Do you think it's an asshole thing to do in general? And then also, that's one of the unwritten rules of basketball. You don't do that. And then I guess I just wonder, what do you think there was another message behind it? Do you think, I mean, was he just excited about being back? What do you think? What do you think why would he have done? Why would he do something like that? No reason at all. But he just decided to say, hey, F it. I'm gonna throw a windmill down in this game. And again, I saw some people in the chat. Hopefully he didn't hurt his calf. That would be terrible. He did come down, and I don't know if he grabbed it. He did kind of grab it. I don't know what that was. But what did you make of it, if anything?
Yeah, it was an awkward landing for sure. But I think, to me, like, just looking at what the chat has thought about it, and to me, like, okay, it is an unwritten rule. You probably shouldn't do it, but nobody's, like, enforcing that. You're not getting a fine or a suspension or anything. So, to me, it's just, play until the whistle, I guess, is the final whistle sounds and the final buzzer sounds. But to me, yeah, I think I agree with some of the chat that says, look, he might be trying to fire these guys on the end of the bench up. They haven't seen a convincing win like this since, I mean, yeah, obviously got the win against the Pacers, but haven't really seen a encouraging moment, an encouraging game, an encouraging spot in a game where it goes down to the wire a little bit. You're kind of neck and neck all game, and you can rely on that superstar, and he is that superstar. And I think it's just it adds a little bit of fuel to the fire for this basketball team to, hey, we need to start winning some games. We need to start stringing together some games here. And I think that's basically, I don't know if it's the reason he did it, but I think that does light a little bit of a fire. I mean, you saw the whole bench come in. You saw guys like KPJ aggressive, going at Coby White, even though he wasn't even really in the play or even close to the scrum at the middle there. So, I mean, Bobby, everybody that was involved with that came to the defense of Giannis. And that may be just a more like indictment on what this team is. Like, this team does I mean, you saw it from the interviews when the whole trade stuff was going on. Is everybody's jumping to the defense of Giannis. I feel like they love him. I feel like the team is more intact than what the media is trying to make it out to be. And so I think that's probably why it took place.
Yeah, and I disagree with the folks in the chat. D'Angelo Rose 9439. Well, not him. But it's me, Mickey says if any team did it to us, y'all be upset. Just stop. No, I promise you guys may not know me. But again, I'm one of the people where I can't find the high road. I'm never gonna find the high road. I'm one of the people who what they say when they go high, you go low. When they go whatever, when they go low, you go high. I'm going to hell. That's where I'm going. You go low, I'm going to hell. And so again, but that's me. That's my personality. So I will never be one of those people who will tell you, oh no.
Now JT might. Now we might have some people on this show that might be, hey, this is the unwritten rule, get off my lawn take. But me, Trey, I don't care. I really don't care. If you won the game, you won the game. I'm going to be more mad if the Bucks were to deal with that. I'm going to be more mad as to why you're letting this happen in the first place. Right.
Now, what now? I'm going to tell you what should have happened. What should have happened, because that's me. You can't get mad after it. Giannis didn't sneak down. Now, some guys sneak down the court and try and hit a little layup, and then Giannis didn't sneak. He got the ball. He went to half court. You saw him gearing up to run down. What should have happened, if you really want to challenge, was either a hard foul, was you get that, bust your ass down there, get a hard foul, something like that, or whatever, because you don't have to allow him to make the shot. Now that I will agree. And again, to me, that's the rule. I don't have to let you do it. I might foul you and shit. Because I'll give you another one. You know what I don't like? One unwritten rule, whatever. I don't like when guys think they're about to get like a record or something, and let's say it's most threes in a half, most threes in a game, and they'll start, or they want a certain number, and they'll start like, let's say they need to get 23, whatever it is, and they'll start hunting their threes. And I've seen stuff like that because they think they're about to get some kind of record, or they want some kind of. Now, if I think that you're trying to show me up, I may foul you very hard. I have no, and if somebody did that, I would have. Again, I wouldn't have. Now, again, on the opposite side, Bobby Portis would have had, or somebody would have had to go over there and take somebody's head off for doing it. But that's how that thing goes for me, right? Like, if it was happening to me, if it was happening to my team, you got to go and defend your basket. That's what I would have wanted to see. You can't let somebody do it and then want to talk about it at the end. That is incredibly weak to me. But that's what I would have expected. But I didn't have any. Another one that I don't like. Quarterbacks, when they want to slide late or they want to tiptoe out of bounds, they 1,000% deserve to get their head blown off. They deserve to be hit hard if you're not going to run your ass out of bounds. Now, when it's Bryce Young, again, if he gets hit, that's fine. But what I expect is one of the linemen to come over and wring somebody's head for it, whoever hit him. Though it goes both ways is all I'm saying, and I just don't have a problem with it. I also don't think it was to antagonize Chicago. I really don't. I think it was more about himself and more about the team and more about everybody else. It could have been anybody tonight, and I think Giannis was going to do that. Now, again, with a bad calf, maybe that's probably the only reason why I would have said I probably wouldn't have done it. But again, emotions get high. You're in a basketball game, first game back 3.5 weeks. I give you all the rumors that everybody wants them to come out and get in front of a microphone and talk about. To me, that was as big a statement as you could make. Doing something like that is as big. That to me speaks volumes instead of running in front of a mic and saying, I promise I'm not. Kyrie Irving got in front of a mic and said he would never leave Boston and then jumped his way out of there. So going in front of a mic and saying he ain't going to leave don't mean nothing to me. What Giannis did, and again, I don't know. Do you think he rushed back from injury? I don't know. But yeah, he clearly wanted to come back. Medical team finally let him do it. 25 minutes. Bucks won the game because of it.
Well, I don't know if I'd say all that. I don't know if that's more of a statement than actually saying you want to be here. But I think what the action is, again, is what you just talked about. going out there when there was no real timetable for an exact target of a game that you would return, to come back in this one when it's seemingly going off the rails a little bit. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. Like, this season was and could still be. I mean, I'm not all the way convinced that this team is going to be insane the rest of the year and be able to rack up a ton of wins in a row, but I think just being out there, it definitely spoke volumes to who Giannis is, what he wants this team to be, and who he committed to at the beginning of the season. And I'll also say, when you mention like the analogies from different sports, like, I've always been a proponent of, okay, in baseball, if you bat flip, like, you probably shouldn't get hit in the head with a fastball the next time up. You got the best of the pitcher, right? If you hit a home run. So to me, I mean, I'll never say that, especially in a close game. Like, it's not like the Bucks were up 25. It's not like the Bucks were up 30. Like, this, with 33 seconds left, it was a 4-point game with the Bulls having a shot at it. I mean, you kind of expect the guys to play hard all the way to the final whistle, because as we know with this Bucks team, under this coach, nothing is unexpected. Nothing out of the ordinary will happen with this basketball team. We've seen it so many times where this team crumbles in the last minute. Leave no doubt, and they left no doubt with that dunk.
Yeah, and to your baseball analogy, again, I'm not the biggest baseball proponent or fan out here, but I was, to me, that's when you got, I just, it's so dangerous throwing the ball at somebody's head 100 miles an hour. That's just it's one of those things that to me is one of the old school kind of things that needs to probably die. And yeah, people bat flip all you want, come back and get it back. I love when they used to let the pitchers bat, so you can go get it back on your own if you really want to, or when you strike somebody, however you want to celebrate, when you do whatever you want to do. I have no issue with it. NYC Randy 26, our guy with the super chat, he says Giannis gets on the court, instant impact, both ends, found AJ wide open like 17. Every three AJ took was open, man. Every three he took was open. Again, gotta hit shots. I'm not upset about it. It's a high volume thing where you're shooting. He put up 20 the other night. We talked about it. Tonight it didn't. But everything happened. Scored whenever he wanted, while pacing himself clearly, testing his calf, 8 rebounds, 24 minutes. Amazing. NYC, you're absolutely correct. He was absolutely amazing tonight. I did want to go. There's another chat in here from Global Executive Media. Who that? It's interesting that Global Executive Media 4233. Interesting. He says, and he's had a couple comments in here about Miles Turner. So let's turn our attention there, and then I get to super chat, another super chat from NYC Randy. He says, why not talk about Miles Turner? Good game. What is happening? He had a couple other comments in the chat that I saw earlier saying that, that Bucks fans are too quick to get on Miles Turner and all types of things. And basically that some of the reason, I think he was saying, alluding to some of the reason the Bucks fans don't like Miles Turner is because he came from Indiana, which I think is not true. But let's talk for a second about Miles Turner's game tonight. Chris, 13-5. I thought Miles Turner, again, I think Doc Rivers has to understand this. And Global Executive, what I'll say about Miles Turner is I think he has been ass for the most part in his tenure with the Bucks. Now, again, that's 3.5 weeks without Giannis. So we clearly have seen him without Giannis, and with that, he hasn't been good. Again, let's just look at his stats. Miles, what they call him, Tina Turner. Miles Turner, let's just go through his career, okay? He's had the last 3 years in Indiana 18, 17, and 15 points a game. Prior to that, he was basically in 2018, 13, 2019, 12, 2020, 12 points, 2021, 12 points, and then the last 3 years, which has basically been with Halliburton, 18, 17, and 15. Rebounding last year, again, he was, with Halliburton there, he had 7.5 rebounds in 22, about 7 in 23, 6.5 in 24, and this year he's down to 5.4 rebounds per game. 5 rebounds tonight. What I'll say about Miles Turner is, and this is what Doc Rivers has to understand, I do think he plays much better with Giannis in the lineup. And I do, and because of that, I think Doc Rivers has to maximize his time on the floor with Giannis. He looks much better defensively. Offensively, my biggest problem with Miles Turner at Global Exec is the fact that he's basically a three-point shooter. Now, tonight I saw a little more variety in his game, 2 of 5. He got himself to the line a couple times as well. I want to see more of the mid-range, more of him inside the bat, inside doing some more of those things, and not just being a standstill three-point shooter. Now, what I will say is he is good for Giannis because, again, he's a space the floor big. We'll agree with that point. But to me, his biggest impact has got to be on the defensive side of the basketball. And I will say for this Global Exec, when he's not with Giannis on the court, it doesn't look like he has a huge impact. Now, again, is some of that Doc Rivers? Maybe. But you got to play basketball. Point blank period, end of the day. Got to play basketball. You got to be a good basketball player. And I just see less of it. Now, when Giannis is on the floor with him, I think more players are, I don't want to say afraid. They fear a little more going to the basket. I think it causes a little more hesitation when you have 2 7-footers like that patrolling the rim and patrolling the basket. And I think they just do a much better job in cohesion together. But by himself, he hasn't been good. And that's where I think a lot of the criticism lies. Again, tonight, 13 and 5, it's good. It's good. I think I want to see Miles Turner. I really want to see him. At least 15 has to be basically a baseline for him. 15 tonight has to be baseline for Miles Turner. And then I need to see rebounds. I need to see blocks. He had a couple when he went and got a rebound. But again, I just overall, I need to see more. He makes a lot of money. I need to see more. I mean, damn, Kyle Kuzma had 12 points tonight. Like, and he's making $20 million. And we don't see more out of him. So my issue is you can't be again tonight, AJ Green. If AJ Green made shots, Miles Turner would have been the worst starter on. He was tonight. If for the starting group, he was your fourth best. He was your fourth best starter, to me. And again, if AJ Green hits 2 more threes, he'd have been the worst starter on the team. So again, it was a decent game for Miles Turner. I just expect my expectations are much higher.
As are mine. Look, I think you're right when you say that Miles is better with Giannis on the floor, but I still see the lack of aggression. And that's what I think would bring the most impact to this basketball team is just being aggressive out there. Being aggressive, making yourself felt to the other team, whether it be defensively or offensively. Look, I don't think he's really hunting the looks that he might be able to get off of pick and rolls. I don't think he's really hunting the aggressive rebounds, the aggressive blocks all the time when you have another 7-footer down there. So yeah, to me, I think the aggression needs to take a step up, and then also just the confidence offensively never really has shaken out this year for Miles Turner. But I think that, if you're shooting the ball at a respective rate, like if you're 40% from 3 tonight, which he was, like why not a couple more go up?
Yeah.
Why not a couple more mid-ranges go up? He only shot 9 times, right? So that's what I want to see. I want to see the more confidence, more aggression from Miles Turner, especially now this time around with Giannis in the lineup. But yeah, without Giannis, it looks bad, and that's no bias. We're not being a jaded podcast for that. Everybody sees it. Everybody sees it, but this person. So I think if you just continue to watch along and see what is either happening or not happening with Miles Turner, you'll start to agree with us.
D'Angelo says he's not an aggressive person. What we want and need, he's not. Guy plays with Legos. I'm not knocking him, but when you play with Legos, I question how aggressive you may be. I'm nothing wrong at all with doing it. But you're probably not the most aggressive player if you're 29 years old playing with Legos. You're probably aggression. You got to be real delicate putting them Lego pieces together. So I mean, I can see it.
All right, Lego. Come on now. The Lego stuff ain't that bad.
No, it's not. I ain't got no problem with it. I'm just saying
you could be aggressive and build Legos. I think, to me.
Okay, can you?
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that actually. Never mind.
Listen. Ain't no problem. When you 5, yeah, my 3-year-old play with Lego again.
He's not building sets.
He's right, and whatever he builds, he's destroying it within 10 seconds. So there's it's that aggression piece. When you building them and building statues and got a shrine to them, I just question how aggressive you may be. And there's nothing wrong with being delicate. But again, as a center, if you're 7 feet tall, I need you at times. I need you to be upset, and
but that's the thing. He's capable of it though, and we've seen that, right? Like we've seen him even this year, right? Going up and driving hard to the rim and ripping the screws off the basket. Like
I need that guy,
but we've only seen it maybe like twice or 3 times this year.
Yep.
And we saw it a lot in Indiana. It just hasn't showed up offensively or defensively, really.
And I'm not even talking about like prime Brook Lopez, but even like kind of over the hill Brook Lopez. Not Brook Lopez now, but like Brook Lopez, he was a little more aggressive than Miles Turner. And again, I think he had a little different level of comfort with the group. He was a part of a core, won a finals, was with them through for a long period of time. So again, maybe that's some of it. And again, I will give you some grace in having to adjust. Because that's a real Kyle Kuzma. And again, not like Kyle Kuzma is, playing the best basketball of his life, but Kyle Kuzma has gone from absolute, I'm not gonna say absolute bum, from big time question mark, terrible decisions, not in the place he needs to be, not doing the things you need him to do, to this year. And again, will I say he's playing like a $20 million guy? No, not quite. But he is one of our most serviceable for guys that are coming off the bench. He's one of your most consistent players off the bench. And again, and that ain't hard when you compete with Garrett Harris and Sims and the rest of them bums on the bench. But he is a consistent sixth man type of role player. And he's much better 1 year into the system than he was when he first came. So I'll give him. I try to give Miles Turner some grace for that. But the other thing is the urgency is it's a different level of urgency. It's a different level of urgency. This thing could all end in a moment if Giannis decides or whatever may happen. You're very close to this thing ending. So the urgency level is just a little different. NYC Randy super chat says still think we need to make a move, but he changed the trajectory of his team. The flip from when he is on and off the court is still insane. Still talking about Giannis. Yeah, I mean there's just no question about it. He does change the trajectory of this team. Chris King, I'll ask you, what is, again, with Giannis on the team and in the roster, assuming he stays healthy, what is the trajectory of this basketball team? How far do you think they can go? How good do you think they are with Giannis and with this team primarily healthy? Remember, no Gary Trent tonight, and no again, you still don't have Taurean Prince as well either.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think I saw a comment last night when I brought up TP. Like, TP does not suck. Like, I saw somebody say that in the chat. Does not suck during the stretch of a 82-game season. Now, in the playoffs, he may be just a guy. But as far as needing somebody who's reliable to knock down shots and help, honestly, with the rebounding, I think Taurean Prince has done good for the Bucks in that category. But, yeah, I think when you look at the ceiling of this basketball team, I'm not going to say finals immediately or say that they can make a deep run, but in terms of what they can do right now, I do believe that with Giannis on the floor, and barring that they don't just stand pat at the trade deadline or even the month leading up to it, like, I think this team can right the ship for sure, because of what you see Giannis being able to do immediately against a team that had won 5 straight, against a team that has been playing good this year, against a team that's going to potentially be in the playoff picture and firmly at that. And they go out and win it convincingly. Like, yes, it was close, but they did all the things right down the stretch to win this game. They did not crumble as we've seen Bucks teams do this year. And it's also like, you guys have to understand there's still some familiarity that needs to be built with this basketball team. The real first season that Ryan Rollins has been a key contributor, maybe top 3 contributor on this basketball team. The first year that KPJ and Giannis are going to have heavy minutes played together instead of a Damian Lillard, right? The first time you're seeing Miles Turner, if they decide to keep Miles Turner throughout this whole season together. So I think there's still some growing that needs to be done, and I think that could ultimately help this team go to the playoffs. Now, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what the ceiling is for this team, but I do believe if everybody stays healthy, this team could make waves. This team could build on a win tonight. It could build on wins down the road, and it could probably get in there.
I see some people tell me to read the chat. Derek Clayton had some of Jan's interviews. So I went to Eric Name's Twitter page, and we do have comments from Giannis. He said this is Giannis on his decision to windmill to close out the game. This is interesting comments too. He says, "What? We're 11th in the East. Are we 11th or 12th? 11th. We just got to keep finding our identity. And if that means we need to if that is to get a little bit of scrap at the end." So be it. We're not the champs. Why should we play the clock out and respect fair play? Like we're fighting for our lives right now. Real talk. I've been in the league 13 years in the league. If we keep on losing, brother, I love when people do brother. If we keep on losing, brother, probably half the team's not going to be here. We're not going to make the playoffs. Like, I really don't care. At the end of the day, I just want to be available, be healthy, and help my team win. And if that's what has to happen for them, everybody to wake up and understand we're fighting for our lives, we got to get our hands dirty. So be it. God, I tell you, I love that. I love that comment from Giannis. So he gives, and I love that he's so introspective. He'll tell you exactly what he's thinking. And again, so I probably, like you said, Chris, I probably overstated the message. I did overstate it because it came from Giannis' mouth. I overstated what the message was. The message was not so, but in some ways we're correct here. The message wasn't to the naysayers. It wasn't to everybody else. It wasn't to the message for this dunk was to his teammates. That this message, I did know it had nothing to do with the Bulls. It had everything to do with himself and his teammates and saying, dog, we got to get this thing right. We have to turn this thing around. And he's absolutely correct. And let me tell you something. Again, that's another one. If you want to get an insight into what he's thinking, and he didn't say, I ain't going to be here. He didn't say that. He didn't say, well, if we keep losing, I'm gone. He said, let me read again.
Y'all.
He said, if we keep losing, brother, half the team's not going to be here. He's talking to you mofos in the locker room. Y'all motherfuckers ain't going to be here if we keep losing, because we're going to be here. He says, I want to be available, healthy, and help my team win. This is leadership. And again, Giannis is not, again, well, he is kind of a fiery guy, but he is one of those guys. I've had a couple guys I played with at Howard that were, I've played with all kinds of people. I played with, and it's funny, we had a guy on defense named Keith Pugh, linebacker, played for the Bills for a cup of coffee in the league. He was an emotional leader. He spit, we call him the quote spitter. He gave quotes before every game. He was like he was talking about moving mountains and giving you all the Bible verse. He was one of those guys before the games to get you hyped. Yap, yap, yap. Great player. And nothing wrong with it, because I was a yap, yap, yap guy. But he was a yap, yap, yap guy. He was talking all the time, yelling, screaming. He was an emotional, fiery leader. We had another guy on offense, a wide receiver, named Willie. His last name escaped me right now. Willie was not an emotional fight. Matter of fact, you couldn't even get a read on him as to what he was thinking. He rarely spoke. You know, he talked, but he wasn't a yap yap guy. He was going to go out and catch patches on your head like he was Randy Moss. But he wasn't going out to do all the talk. He just wasn't for it. So I played with guys that do all that kind of stuff who play that way. Giannis does a little bit of it, but he's not a Draymond where you're just out there constantly yapping. He's not a Kevin Garnett constantly yapping. But to me, he is a lot of, look at me, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing. And to me, that's what that comment symbolizes. Y'all need to, again, get on my back. Here I am. And y'all need to recognize, if you don't play like we're fighting for our lives, some of y'all won't be around here past a couple weeks. We've got to win. And again, probably win. We're probably beyond the point now where guys are going to get traded. There's no way around it. But if you want to be on this ride with me to get us into the playoffs and to battle, the levels got to pick up. And I have again, like you said, if it has to be dirty, if you have to be scrappy, again, fair play rules. And hey, unwritten rule. You 12-19 playing by them unwritten rules. The hell you might as well break them. You might as well break them unwritten rules because they ain't been working for you. So I love the comment from Giannis.
Yeah, I do too, and I think that's more along the lines of making a statement to what we all thought about the whole trade stuff. Like, that's more of, I want to be here. I want to will this team to victory. I want this team to understand that when I come back, I am a top 1 player in the league. I am a top 2 player in the league. And you're either with me or you're not. And so I thought that, again, with everybody, what everybody said in the chat was correct. What I ended up saying was correct about, that's a statement to his teammates, letting them know that he's here, he's back, and this is what they're capable of doing when he's out there on the floor. So I love it. I love the fire. I love the angst that Giannis is playing with, just, anxious to be back on the floor. I love all of that, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it, guys. This is just the beginning, and hopefully that's, again, it's dependent on health, but if they stay healthy, I think this team has a real shot at maybe being able to turn it around.
Speaking of health, Chris King, Giannis and KPJ have now played a grand total of 2 games together where neither player left with an injury. Their record in those 2 games, 2-0. So that's something to food for thought there. Let's take another super chat here. Giannis made it clear the dunk was a message to the team. If we keep losing, probably half the team would not be here. If it takes a windmill dunk to wake everybody up and understand we're fighting for our lives, so be it. Direct quote. Yeah, we just read it. Yeah, absolutely. Again, Mark goes says $20 again. Hey, we twerking, Mark. We twerking for that 20, dog. What you mean? Talking about some 20 again? Hey, no. Hey, straight cash, homie. No, we appreciate the super chat, NYC. Appreciate everybody who's in here. Daryl Clayton says that man's not leaving Milwaukee. I agree. Mark Gomes does say, by the way, that could also mean he knows if we don't win games, make the playoffs, half team will be gone because he will be gone, and it's going to take a big trade. Maybe again that's not untrue. Your point there, not untrue, but I really think he's talking about. I think he's talking about the rest of the guys. I think they're gonna have a tough time because again, I just have a hard time seeing that he gets traded from the standpoint of doing it midseason. Just hard to do. I really think it's hard to do. Derek Clay says reminds me of the relax from Aaron Rodgers. Absolutely it does. So again, it's an interesting quote. We talked a little bit about Miles Turner. Real quick before we go to Twitter and start to wrap this tonight, Chris, I do want to ask you one more time about. Let me ask you about your thoughts on the game Bobby Portis played and the bench, and the other question I really want to get into, Gary Harris. How do you think there should be? Because again, Cole Anthony's down in the doghouse. He's basically a DNP CD every night. Amir Coffey can't get off the bench, who was a guy who was playing, and Gary Harris seems to have taken over the Amir Coffey role. What are you seeing, Chris? Do you think from a bench standpoint? And again, I think that it's interesting because Bobby's 17-11 tonight, 2 steals. He puts up a decent night. I thought defensively he was okay at times, and sometimes he was kind of bad. Kuz had a stretch, I think, of good play, and then he kind of tapered off and was average for the rest of the game. But what do you make of this bench? And basically, when Giannis talks about half the team gone, again, I just wonder. I really do think you could transform this bench that we have and throw out another 4 or 5 guys. And again, I'm not saying this team doesn't miss a beat. What I'm saying is, like, I just don't think they're consequential to wins and losses. So I think you really could get away with, you say, half the team trade. I think really the only important guys are Rollins, KPJ, Giannis, AJ Green. Again, Kuz for height and size. But really, I mean, you can get away. And Miles Turner, obviously, he's the center along with Jericho Sims. So you figure, but I guess my question is, outside of your core, I guess, players, the way I feel about the benches, you really could kind of swap out a lot of things. And again, I wonder, do you need rebounding, you need defense, and just one more, looking at it, the rebounding battle, Bucks lost it tonight, but it's not bad, 52-47. And then the turnover battle, the Bucks won the turnover battle 15-10 tonight. So we talk about doing good things. You have to do a couple things good to make sure you win. Chicago still takes 6 more shots than the Bucks, but Chris, or 7 more shots. Chris, when you see this bench, the way Bobby Coos play, Jericho Sims, who seems to carve out a role as a role player now, 16 minutes. He's your backup big now. What are you looking at, and what do you make of him?
Yeah, to me, I mean, 2 answers in that question. I think Bobby played well tonight. I do. I think what we look for him to do is, obviously the dirty work happened tonight. Like out rebounding, Miles Turner was huge. Going for a double-double tonight off the bench. Like, what more can I ask of Bobby Portis? Really, shoot the ball efficiently, don't make dumb decisions, force a couple turnovers, rebound the basketball at a high level, score at a high level. I thought he played well. And then to your point, like, okay, we look at the Gary Harris minutes, and it's like I look everywhere else down the line on that bench, and I don't see it getting better than what Gary Harris can do. And that's an issue for this basketball team. You look at some of those lineups that get thrown out there, and it's nothing to do with a certain player at any point in those bench lineups. It's just the group as a collective. I think there was one that was like Ryan Rollins, Gary Harris, Kuz, Bobby, and then another guy. And it just doesn't look as sustainable as maybe it would if you were to make a move and get somebody, because the options down the bench are just not great. And the ceiling for those guys are not great. But I see the reason why Gary Harris gets those minutes, because he's not really that much of a negative. He's just kind of out there, and then sometimes he can give you a 3. He can give you a drive to the basket, and get a layup or an and one or whatever it may be. So I think the issue really lies in the depth, and I think you're right. I think, outside of the core guys that you have, I think there should be a lot of people that on this Bucks team that could be moved in terms of just trying to shore up that bench unit, and maybe some health will come into play with that, right? Like if you get Gary Trent back and he all of a sudden starts to find a stride because he struggled this year, I think that would do wonders as well. But all in all, I think it's all about Giannis. It's all about the guys who made plays down the stretch. It's all about Bobby coming off the bench, giving you a big game. So that's why you were able to win this game, but surely the bench depth is concerning a little bit.
Vucevic, comments from him on Giannis's dunk to end the game. He said, quote, "I'm assuming Giannis is mad about the report that came out that the Bulls didn't want to trade for him." That was his take on it. I don't know if he was telling a joke there or what it was. But yeah, that's interesting. The way that whole thing ended. And again, I look at your comments about the bench. Yeah, and I thought Bobby did play well. And I see some people in the chat saying you can't trade. I saw someone said you don't trade Bobby except for a fringe all-star. Bobby's not a fringe all-star player. What are you talking? You're not getting a young fringe all-star player back for Bobby Portis. What you could potentially get is somebody who is going to play hard-nosed defense. Now, again, I give Bobby Portis credit for rebounding, and again, he puts the Bucks rebounding to shame with the way Miles Turner rebounds and some of the other bigs. But again, I do think the Bucks are missing from this basketball team in a role kind of because again, they're missing. We talked about the other night, a guy like Dylan Brooks, who's not going to be available, I don't think, but a guy like that is somebody you are missing to me, a guy who is willing to really, when I say dirty work, do the dirty work defensively, rebound, scrappy, loose balls, all of that kind of stuff. You got to be willing to do that. And I saw someone say Miles Turner's on the block. I would have him on the block if I was John Horst, if I was Bucks ownership. I just don't think they are. I think they probably believe I believe 2 things. I believe, again, we talked about, I think that they think Miles Turner is probably a better player with Giannis, and assuming Giannis has his health, they can get more out of that duo. And then I think they also probably think it probably is a bad signal to Giannis and a bad signal to the league if you are taking out Miles Turner after you just waived and stretched Dame Lillard. You bring in Miles Turner, and again, a lot of people they don't like to admit failure very early. Now they deal with Adrian Griffin, but a lot of people don't like to admit failure on their big move super early. Dustin Wagner says trade. Nobody said young, but Bobby's 100% a starter on over half the league. I don't know if that's true. He says get the F out if you don't agree with that. Again, Dustin, you are in the same category as you should hang out with Justin, because that's a Justin take right there that Bobby's a starter on over half the league. I just don't. Let me say this: on a team that has like great defense all around with their starting group, and maybe, yeah, no, he probably can be a starter on a team. On a team that doesn't rebound well and doesn't and has some iffy defensive and is iffy on the defensive side of the ball. No, I don't think so. So I think there are teams that can use Bobby as a starter. And I'm not saying Bobby again. Let me say this: the last probably 2-3 weeks of Bobby Portis has been good. The last 3 weeks. Well, all I'm saying is I've seen Bobby for years now, and it doesn't fool me when he has a stretch of good play where he's hitting shots. And to me, the only time Bobby's effective really is when he's shooting the ball well. Again, tonight was another night. He had 17 points and 16 shots. So that's a lot of points to get to the 17. A lot of shots to get to the 17. He did have 11 rebounds. I give him credit for that. But again, I'm to me at this point, it's almost a sell high kind of scenario where, like, okay, we've done the Bobby Portis thing. I'd like to see somebody else in that role. And again, you probably do need somebody else who can get buckets, and replace some of that offensively off the bench. But I really think this team needs more of, defensive stalwarts and guys that are gonna be grimy and do that kind of thing. But that's me on what I want. And Mark Gomes says Bob is a bench player. He gets 20 minutes per game. What are you expecting? Again, I'm not expecting anything. That's what I'm telling you. I know what he gives me. And to me, this team needs something else. This team needs a guy who is going to go out there and lock up, a guy who's going to win their matchup defensively, a guy who has that type of grit and edge. That's what I think. I think this team's a little soft. I think this team needs more of that versus Bobby versus Bobby Buckets, or as Wesley likes to call him, Summertime Bob. Paul Rich says Ajax is a dog. Again, you need a guy with Ajax level of aggression defensively, but can also play a little off of that. That's what I'm looking for. Somebody like that. I just don't think that that's why I says Trey. My take is I don't want to try and force defense on a team that won't be top 15. Just build an elite offense and get 130 a night. I don't think you have. I'm just telling you, I don't think you have that type of an offense. I don't think Doc Rivers can put out that type of an offense. I really don't. I don't think you can do it. I think you're going to have to be able to play some level of defense. And again, I think being able to play defense, I think on the perimeter, I think that helps Miles Turner too on the back end. Now, I disagree with you. I just respectfully, I disagree with that. I do think the team needs a little bit more on the defensive side of the basketball. That's me though. All right, let's anything you want to get to, Chris, before we hit the Twitter?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Let's see what we're talking. Let's see what the Twitter has to say here. At Sunk345 says weird game from KPJ. The shots that were going from early in the year are not going down now. Also, the problem with the rebounding is the end. Our guards are consistently trying to box out big wings and centers. I agree. I think that's because our guards end up in the post somehow. And you have a lot of our guards are in the post, and our bigs end up on the perimeter. I think some of that happens as well, and I think that hurts you. As sometimes we also there wasn't as much zone tonight either. Chris, how much did you see? I didn't think we played. I can't recall a lot of zone possessions that the Bucks went to, which I think is good. Because again, you can't win playing zone all night. Yeah, I just didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it all that much either. I don't know if it was necessarily I wasn't looking for it, but yeah, I didn't see too much zone.
Yeah. At Shaq Beef 94 says Rollins is back rolling. Bucks fans will use tonight to run KPJ versus Rollins agendas. Both need 30 minutes per game. Doc got the rotation right tonight. Anyways, none of this matters if Giannis, aka top 2 in the world, isn't playing. Also, AJ Green has hit shots for us to be a top offense again. Yeah, AJ Green, again, a lot of you talk about being a top offense. I agree. AJ Green has a lot to do with that. He's got to shoot at a high level. He really does. He had a lot of open looks. Bucky Backer 09. Wonderful ending to an overall solid game. Giannis back was going to have some ups and downs with adjustments to roles, but they closed in crunch time, something they failed to do often. That's true. Their flex right before entering the tunnel by Giannis was absolute beauty. At MKA Bucks 91. This is hell of a game against a very solid, scrappy team. Side note, was a little surprised to see Horst at the game, recruiting someone on the Bulls in person, maybe. No, you know what? I would assume you say you're surprised to horse the game. I think it just has to do with how close they were. I mean, you're in Chicago. I mean, you're the GM of the basketball team. You playing in Chicago. Yeah, there's no reason why you can't get on a team bus or whatever and drive your butt down to Chicago and watch your team play. So I think that probably has more to do with it than recruiting anybody on the Bulls in person. Let's see. At NatHand_12 says I'm 80% sure he aggravated his injury on that dunk. We'll see. At Eron99 says, here's hoping the Bucks ball will be fun again. Couple more Bozo Bucks fans says, team with Giannis on the court can beat any team in the East in a best of 7. Team without Giannis will be 15-67. Horse must go get a second scoring option, preferably from Brooklyn. At Jump Far Forever says Giannis is straight. Don't give a F mode. And last one, Giannis_great says Giannis owns the Bulls. Best player on God's green earth is back, which means we back. Horse just need to find a guy who loves to play defense, rebound, and make free throws. So that's what we got from Twitter. Anything there interested in?
Yeah, I think when you bring up the AJ Green situation, going 2 of 9 from the field, I think it's just a situation where you're looking at, okay, he's got the amount of shots that we've started to want him to be able to take, and at some point average out to where you're still late in the game, 1 of 8, and you knock down a big one towards the end of the game to put us up even more. And so that's going to happen with shooters, so I'm not too worried about it. I think he should still be getting that type of shot quality, that type of shot volume.
Giannis with the he posted a picture on Twitter, said I ain't no painter, but you get the picture with that dunk over the bull, with the dunk that he had, the windmill. Again, I just go back to, and I wonder, it's so funny, Chris. All the when Giannis, he scrubbed his social media of everything Bucks. Well, he just dunked the ball on the. I just wonder, will all those blogs and those the Twitter personalities, when they picked up that Giannis hadn't posted anything Bucks, and now he's got Cream City on his jersey as he's dunking. I just wonder, will the talk be? Will you have that same kind of conversation as Giannis is posting in a Bucks uniform? I doubt it. I doubt it.
Right. I think he's quieting all these guys that have tried to plant some narrative that he's trying to leave Milwaukee. And it just shows with the urgency, right? The urgency to get back on the floor, the urgency to start winning some games. So I'm enjoying it, and hopefully this team is finally able to turn the tide, and we're not just searching for answers. Instead, we're looking for wins.
Absolutely. Speaking of wins, Bucks won every quarter tonight against the Bulls. That was a good sign as well. Let's do game balls here. I'll start. No question, tonight was all about the return of Giannis Antetokounmpo. 29-8, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, 10 of 15 from the field. He was a plus 13 tonight. Giannis gets my game ball in under 25 minutes of action. Giannis Antetokounmpo, a.k.a. some people want to call him Yanni. I call him Yanni. Mama call him Yanni. I'm going to call him Yanni, a.k.a. I'm back, a.k.a. I'm dunking, a.k.a. Look to your left, look to your right. One of y'all may not be here by the trade deadline.
Yeah, I think this should be a unanimous Giannis game ball for coming back and showing that this team can be something with him on the basketball floor. So I'm going Giannis, 29 points, just unreal. Just the amount of, again, gravitational pull. You hear that so much on this program, but it is true. It's real. So Giannis gets my game ball, a.k.a. this is my city, a.k.a. top 2 in the world, if not number 1 in the world still. Mess whatever Cream City crossover was talking about last night, because I debunked it today, a.k.a. gravitational pull. There you go.
There we go. If Kuzma got the AKA, if Kuzma got a game ball time, I would have said something about the haircut. You know, this Kuzma's there's a lot of hair on that head. You know, I was interested. I was like, man, he used to have a straight. You know, it was almost bald. Now I'm like, man, he got the Dark Caesar going. All right, let's go. Let's look through the league. 112, 103. It's Pickle Luke, you about to get hot take. I think hot take. I think Giannis Antetokounmpo only play less than 30 minutes so he can get healthier in the playoffs. But if it goes to overtime, 34. Okay. I mean, you got to win the games, though. Yeah, in games that you winning, sure. 112-103 Bucks beat the Bulls. Kings beat the Mavericks tonight. Magic beat the Nuggets. I believe it's a triple-double from Joker. Yep. Joker, 34, 21, and 12. Big time numbers. Desmond Bain had 24. Anthony Black, 38 points tonight. Banchero's having a rough year. 12.6 boards, 6 assists. But Orlando does get the win. Suns 123-114. Did you see was that game? Yeah, that was that game. There's a big fight. Jose Alvarado. I think he's going to get suspended. He definitely threw a punch.
It landed too.
Yeah, it landed. Who was that? Who did he hit?
Is that Mark? What's his name? Mark Williams?
Oh, was that Mark? Okay, Mark. Yeah. I think they both got suspended, but yeah, he landed one tonight. Knicks beat the Hawks 128-125. Oh, I thought. Oh, who hit the game? I thought somebody. Let me know somebody hit a game winner in that one. I thought that was there a game winner? Knicks Hawks 128-125. Trae Young 9 points, 10 assists. Hawks keep falling with Trae Young in the lineup. Heat beat the Pacers 142-116. It's a sad organization out in Indiana. They're having a rough time. And then the Cavaliers lose again. They dropped to 17-16, 117-100. Rockets beat them. The Brooklyn Nets beat the Timberwolves 123-107. Jazz beat the Spurs. How about that? Let's see what Wemby did there. Wemby 32-7 wasn't enough to beat the Utah Jazz. And that's everything. And then of course you had the Packers lose tonight, I believe. I have not seen that game, but the Packers, 41-24. What the hell happened? I saw some tweets saying that Malik Willis was having a good night, but I don't know what happened to lose 41-24 to Snoop Huntley. I believe that means that the Bears have captured the division there, right? I think so. So sounding like the Bears won the division, NFC North, and then the earlier game was Texans and Chargers, and that one ended up a 2016 victory for the Chargers. Justin Herbert looked terrible for most of that game. I thought for large stretches of the game, C.J. Stroud looked rough. Dicker missed a field goal, so they lost by 4, and I believe Dicker missed a chip shot field goal, and he missed an extra point. So there are your 4 points right there in a 2016 loss. But the Texans win 2016. Both of those teams now 11-5. Anything there you want to get at, or anything else you want to get at, Chris?
No, I think the chat just said that it wasn't a game winner. It was OG Anunoby 4 free throws in 30 seconds to ultimately come down from 1 to winning by 3. So yeah, that was that. But no, I don't really have anything, honestly, with the look around. It's just, again, we talked about some of the stuff last night, gave our predictions, and really, like, what's going on with the Packers defense to allow Tyler Huntley to go crazy like that. It was on, like, one of my other TVs for a little bit, and the halftime score was crazy. I think it was, high 20s, low 30s for Baltimore, and, 14, 17 maybe for the Packers. Like, no defense there, but I don't know. They got to get Jordan Love healthy, and defense got to certainly play better if you want to contend for anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you have a slate of games tomorrow. Obviously, I'm all messed up with my day. Today's Saturday. I feel like it's a Sunday. I don't know what's going on. James Moore says Texans win the division with the Jaguars loss in one of the next 2 games. Houston secures a playoff spot. Derrick Henry ran the ball. Oh yeah. I did see a lot of tweets about Derrick Henry. Let me see. I just want to see what. Let me just see what Derrick Henry finished with.
That is true. The Packers do have a hurt defense, but still.
36 carries, 216 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Jesus. Running like Rico Dowdle around here. Okay. Wow. That's what it was. Yeah, that'll do it to you. Malik Willis, I did see that run he had where he pulled. He had 18 for 21, 288, 1 touchdown, and then 9 carries, 6 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was a big time play from him. But yeah, you can't give him 41 points. That's gonna be tough. Oh yeah, it says we know what's wrong. Yeah, no Michael Parsons. That hurts too. All right. Bucks get the win tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 112-103. I'm still debating. I think I'm gonna go to this Bucks Hornets game Monday night. So we'll see how what that means for the show. If Giannis wasn't playing, I planned on not going, but then now Giannis is back, so I might slide out there to Spectrum Center Monday night, 7 p.m. It's gonna be tough to make. No, I can probably leave work early. It's holidays. Bucks win it tonight. Big win for the Milwaukee Bucks. They needed it. They need this one against Charlotte as well on Monday. So we'll see if they can keep this thing rolling. 112-103 was the final. Chris, anything else before we wrap this thing up officially in a 9-point win for your Milwaukee Bucks?
Hey, if you're going to the game against the Hornets, you being in the building is just as good as having a post-game show or not having you for a post-game show that me and JT may run. So just another Bucks fan in the building would be great, and just make sure you cheer on the Bucks real hard, because we're gonna need. At some point, we got to go back-to-back wins. At some point, we got to start stringing together some wins, some dubs.
Yep.
And if the Guru being in the building on Monday with Nipples hurt, all that stuff, Giannis is back. We got some momentum. If that's the night to do it, it should be. So
might be D'Angelo Ross. 9-4-3-9 says Bucks in 6. I think again do we feel that momentum coming? Bucks win by 9 over Chicago Bulls. Appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. Appreciate the super chats. Appreciate all of your comments tonight in a victory over the Chicago Bulls. If you have not hit that like button if you didn't hit it on the way in, please hit it on the way out. Bucks improved to 13-19. We appreciate you all. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us tonight. Celebrating back-to-back nights, celebrating a win over the Chicago Bulls, and we appreciate it greatly. Me and Chris King running the show 2 nights in a row, just us two running it. So again, a lot of shout out to Chris, and we appreciate everybody for all the hard work here. Again, tell a friend, hit that like button, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Tell a friend and tell a friend, tell a friend about the Cream City Crossover. It is the best Milwaukee Bucks post-game show in all of the land. We appreciate you guys 100%. This has been a Cream City Media Group production. From the Guru Treasurer,
Chris King.
If I am my enemy is only because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no